What is up, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. For those of you who know, thank you for standing by through the technical difficulties. But here we are. We're at episode 199. We're here at 199 episodes. So, as always, welcome. My name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie. Um, where I always remind you. You see, it threw me off so much that even my intro's gone. So you know what? We're gonna rewind it and we're gonna go again. And I go, my name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I always remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. All right, and now that we got that out of the way, as tradition goes around here, the first thing that we always do is go ahead and check out who are the first camera junkies of the crew to make it into the chat. And before we step into that, we're gonna go right into a little bit of housekeeping. Now, today we're testing out a lens, which is what you're looking at right now, but this is like basically straight out of the box with no adjustments, and we're gonna be doing some of those together today. All right, and first things first, we're gonna be talking about Doc's Pops. So if you see my microphone here, I have one of Doc Rock's Doc Pops, and it not only looks good but makes you sound extremely good for all of the P's and pulsives and things like that. What's up, Jarrell? Jarrell is in the house. I gotta put up his comment real quick. He snuck in here, but we're gonna get into that. Thank you for taking the time and making that out here onto the live on Saturday nights. But just to mention Doc's Pops, they are still at a discounted rate. So if you haven't gotten yours, please, I'm telling you, take advantage, because I already sent the message to him that the pre-sale should have been over already and that the prices should be regulating, because these are already going to be shipping in no time. But because of his mistake, you could take advantage. So if you haven't gotten your hands on your Doc Pops yet, there's still time to get at that pre-order price. So do so before it switches up. And also, I'm going to mention my friend, Mr. Rafael Ludwig. He also has the enhanced editing course for Final Cut Pro. You can just use the QR code there or the link down below. If you're looking to, one up or basically start learning from scratch Final Cut Pro, then this is basically a all-in-one 2-week course where that's basically what he advertises. You could have the confidence to edit with Final Cut Pro in just about 2 weeks. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and check out my friend Rafael Ludwig with his advanced editing course in Final Cut Pro. And if you're wondering how I'm doing and producing all of this, as always, I am doing all of this with the power of Ecamm, which is also what I use to record all of my videos, to give you multiple shots, connect multiple cameras, where I do all of my remote productions for the Flow podcast, and everything that I do. My computer constantly has this program on and going, and I'm always tweaking and learning and messing around with it as well. And there we go. And that's the house cleaning. And now to get to the chat to see exactly who are the first people who are here. And right off the bat, we have Parker Jennings. I was also saying hi to Parker before we had all of the technical difficulties. And that was a bit weird. I'm just going to mention that because it literally was cutting the stream out and just kicking me out. So I'm glad that we were able to fix that. But he's also saying hi to me, saying looking forward to the stream. We also have Paul, Mr. Duncan, Mr. Moderator in the house. We also have images by Gretchen. Gretchen is here saying hi to Aiden. And how's my buddy tonight? He's doing great. He's hanging out. He's right now he's doing great. So we're just gonna continue before I grab too much of his attention and then he wants mine. It says, I can't wait to see him at camp. Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, Creator Camp is less than a month away, setting everything up. So I'll be taking the trip from here, Miami, and road tripping with Aiden, stopping by in Atlanta. And I'm going to be picking up a good friend, Aubrey, and then she'll be taking the trek with me from Atlanta, basically back to Amesbury, Massachusetts, where we'll be spending a week in October at Ecamm's Creator Camp. So I'm super excited about that. I've got my my camera ready, right? And I was gonna start packing, and I realized that I was pretty much packed already. I was more than halfway there because when I got to my suitcase, it was still filled up from my last trip in July when I went to Atlanta, and I was hanging out with Aubrey when we did the podcast summit. I believe that's the one that we did. Yes, it's I think that's the one. Yeah, podcast summit. So that was just a lot of fun, but all these names are starting to run together on me. Oh, we got Sammy Superstar in the house saying very interesting to see the 35 millimeter lens you're testing out tonight. All right, cool. And we will be he says he has the 50 millimeter f1.2 and he's loving it. Well, I'm loving the 35 on the, especially for photography, but we're gonna see exactly how, because the colors when it comes to the video and the USB connection are not to my liking right off the bat, but they rarely are. So this was straight out of the box. If I'm correct, it's in the neutral like camera setting with the Nikon or the Nikon. But yeah, we're going to be messing around with that in just a little bit. We also have Ernesto in the house saying happy Saturday to all. And this is when Mr. Parker let me know that there was no music and we started having a debacle with the silent start. All right, but we're going to skip all the no music comments. And we're going to go back to I guess the regular comments. Yep. Let's see here. Says in my head zombie. Sorry about that, the Office reference. I'm not familiar with it, and you guys might not believe this, but I stopped watching television so many years ago that I never really got into The Office, and I'm someone who doesn't watch a series until it's completed, so that I don't get like all the FOMO and stuff like that. So it's something that's on my list to watch, but I have not actually gone through the entirety of the series The Office. Like, I know people have rewatched it multiple times, my nephew being one of them, and it's so funny that I haven't like taken the time to do it. So all right, this is where Ernesto's letting me know that the music is back on. And yes, Paul is helping me out and reminding me to remind you to put a Q colon. That will help me find your questions, because with the magical program Ecamm, I'm able to search for that Q colon and make sure that I don't miss your questions. So yes, this is Jarrell Peak. Thank you as always for again, better said, for hanging out here with me. He actually does the broadcast that I've referenced here on Cities Gaw with Brandon Washington. So the uncensored live stream that I actually watch every Friday, he's actually the co-host with Brandon Washington. So he's another creator as well, and he has his YouTube channel. So if you haven't done so already, also check out his channel, because I've subscribed and I can't wait to see what he comes up with, because I want to see his next video. All right, and Paul's helping me out with the links, and he's also letting us know 24 days till camp. That's actually like in no time, and I still need to like rent the vehicle. So Sammy's got the first question in here. He says, why do you choose the 35 f1.2 for the Nikon instead of the Sony? Well, that's the whole thing. I just got my hands on this Nikon and I only had the kit lenses. So I'm a big prime lens user, and this was too good of a price to kind of pass up. So just scrolling on Amazon and seeing what lenses were available for the Z mount, this one, I think I picked it up for $75. Now, there was, I believe, an f1.6 that was for like $40, but I was like, f1.2? That's craziness, right? As far as like, you know, the amount of light allowed into the sensor. So I was like, it's worth, you know, kind of almost doubling the price. But I grabbed it and I've been super happy with it. And when it comes to that body style of camera, similar to like my Fuji with all the knobs and all the like fidget spinners on the top, Having that manual focus lens kind of also allows me to slow down and use it for what I really like those cameras for, photography first. And even though right now we're using it for video, that's majorly what I'm using that camera for. So that was the first lens that I wanted to pick up because it's a great focal length for APS-C cameras, and it's still compact enough that it's not cumbersome in, carrying this around as a secondary photography camera. Because if, well, when we get to it, I will be demonstrating my FX30 setup, which is my, you've heard of minimalistic setups. Well, this is a maximalistic setup. I've kind of set it up so that it can handle every situation as far as run and gun goes. So I've put a lot of thought into it, but this is the antithesis of that, right? This is just as simple as you can go. And sometimes keeping it simple is where you actually have to counteract all the simplicity, and it allows you to be more creative. At least I think so. All right, we got JP in the house. As I watched the countdown and listened to you get started and realized that it was the old live stream. Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that you made it to the actual live stream. And Ness also says, are you planning on picking up any tech in October Prime deals for my trip? I think I'm pretty much set. That's what he says for my trip. I think I'm pretty much set, but there is some things, that I am going to be picking up. Like once I actually get over there, I'm going to be hop skipping, the state lines from Massachusetts over to New Hampshire, and I'm going to stop at the Apple store to pick up my new iPhone. So I've already decided that I'm going to go over there and just save me some money because I'm going to get the 1 terabyte model. So I'm gonna save me about like $100 or so on tax, which I'm gonna use to actually buy a case and screen protector and some other gadgets for it. So I'm gonna take advantage of that, seeming that I'm gonna be in that area, at that time anyway. So that's the only gadget that I know that I'm definitely gonna be picking up in October. But besides that, I think I've already done pretty much all the planning ahead, right? I've just been having fun tricking out my FX30. Sammy also says, I have my FX30 always rigged with the backpack so I can always have it on hand. Well, I've made mine more run and gun, right? But it's very flexible. So I have it where I have the onboard microphone and everything, set up onto it. But then at the same time, through a flick of a switch, I can go, behind the camera, or basically in front of the camera from behind the camera, and go wireless with audio and still have the ability to frame and control everything because of this new magical app that I had mentioned, I believe last week, the new monitor and control app from Sony. Just a little FYI and giving you a little bit of insider baseball. I straight up have gone into dedicating an older iPhone, which is my iPhone 11 Pro Max, to be my camera's monitor because of this application. It's just been too good. And the fact that all I have to do is power it up instead of having the HDMI and power to get that same type of functionality. And if I have it wirelessly with me, I can actually record from in front of the camera. Like I said, I can go wireless with my audio and control of the camera. It's just, like I said, I'm setting it up so that I can do pretty much everything that I want to do when it comes to recording this event, being Creator Camp. So another thing that I did, FYI, to get into it, is that I actually got a 1 terabyte 1 TB memory card in the CF Express Type A for the FX30. And once I formatted it, that thing told me I have 37 hours and 48 minutes of record time continuously. And I was like, let's go. I'm like, I am pretty much set to be able to just record at my heart's content during this event. And maybe I only have to do 1 or 2 data dumps at most. So I'm just like ecstatic about how things are progressing. But I've ordered just a couple of other little nuances that I'm going to be adding to the rig itself, but I weighed it in at about like 9.5 pounds. 9.5 pounds is my camera FX30 rig, and but like I said, it's got everything that I need and nothing that I don't. So I think I got it streamlined. But when it comes to the amount of kit in this rig is pretty impressive. Sammy saying I got a CF Express Type A card and it's expensive. Yes, and this terabyte one was also expensive. Like there it's stupid, but there's like $1,000 worth of memory cards in that rig. It's craziness. You know, that with the one that I had originally with the 160 gigs is crazy, like the way that these prices go. So but I am very, very fortunate that I am able to have this like a dream camera and a dream setup. And I can't wait to share it with you guys, because as soon as I get the last piece, you know, from Amazon, from the AZ to come in, it's scheduled to get here tomorrow. I think I'm gonna like disassemble it and reassemble it with the overhead cam and just kind of like make my video based around it, and the thought process on it and what like I put into it and what I left out of it. So I I've had so much fun, that to tell you the truth, going back, let's go over here. I had so much fun with it that it kind of trickled off. So I first started when I was messing with the Nikon Z30 and trying to fix its overheating problems, right? And I kind of did, but there was still something that was pending. So with all the extra gear that I was doing to rig that up, I went into rigging the FX30, and with some spare parts or some extra parts that I got, right, I then invested back into the Nikon Z30. And I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse of how I have it kind of rigged up at the moment as this little cute little camera rig. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. But before we get into that, or even the other thing, we're going to get into this thing right here, which is the Brightin Star. Oh, that was the wrong. There we go. That's the correct one. The Brightin Star f1.2. Now right now I have the aperture closed down a bit to f2.8, so that's the way that we're rocking it. We're at ISO 400, and as you can see, the information is above. We're connected via USB on the Nikon ZFC, and this is the Brightin Star straight out of the box. So to give you some more information on this, once again, this is neutral settings, and I believe we're at 5600 Kelvin as far as the oh, listen to me, the white balance goes. I'm running ahead of myself. So white balance, we're at 5600 Kelvin in the camera, and this is just basically it out of the box. So we're going to go into live demo mode. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the behind the scenes for me here. Let's see this. Okay. There we go. Boom. So now you're seeing the behind the scenes. And actually, yeah, I'm just going to leave it here. So just to show you that we have camera effects control right here. This is this window right here, and this is where we're able to change all of the coloration and things like that. So right now we're changing for the camera E, but you know what, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to do it as the camera itself, because camera E I can switch, but in Ecamm what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the components to the ZFC itself. The difference is that if I make the changes to the camera placer, right, or the placeholder camera in D, that means every camera that I then connect and put it in there will have those effects applied to it, because I'm applying the effects to the camera placeholder. What I'm doing right now, the difference is that I'm actually applying the effects to the camera. This allows me to basically change the camera, because a lot of times in place of the ZFC I'm using the FX30, so I wouldn't want the same, you know, adjustments that I'm making for this camera and this lens in particular to then be trickled down to another camera that I might use in the future. If you see my scenes over here, I have the guest camera, which is basically the same camera that you're looking at right here. But if I were to go into like the next scene, which is the Doc Pops, right, or anything like that, the E camera, it's still the same exact camera, but I call it the guest cam because whenever I change it in the placeholder and I change the D camera, whatever camera that I'm using at that day will then take place for the same location on both sides. So we are going to mess around with this camera effects, but the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to take you to this other scene over here that you guys never see. You see it's unlocked, right? Oh, and my outro is unlocked, which is rare. But my producer view. Now my producer view, as I click into it, it is basically whichever camera I desire, and I have none of the bells and whistles. So if I were to leave live demo mode, right, like I did now we're just seeing the camera and no background, nothing else, just the raw camera feed. So going back into live demo mode, I'm going to do this to show you how I'm going to try to match the colors from my other cameras with the ZFC using the camera effects control. Now, once again, guys, if you have any questions, put a Q colon, right? I'm happy to help in all of this when it comes to messing with cameras and adjusting them in Ecamm. Okay, so right here we have the same thing as my camera switcher window, which is this guy right here. We are having a camera switcher control right in within the window of Ecamm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next desired camera, the colors that I'm trying to match, and I'm just gonna add that hitting the plus button, and we're gonna get the side by side. And that's like the key thing. I already know that I like the colors on the image to the right, and I'm gonna try to match the best that I can, and we can see the discrepancy now when we have both of them on screen. Okay, and just to give you like full screen view, right, of the difference in these colors. All right, going back to the live demo, now we're going to select the ZFC and we're going to start messing with the camera effects, and we could adjust brightness, right? Temperature, let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, we're gonna definitely need to make it a bit warmer, but I'm trying to look at the blue, you know, like over my head over here in the ZFC, and try to make it to look like the blue in the Sony, right? So we're just messing around with colors, and that's the cool part of Ecamm, right? You can just basically just start messing around with the sliders and just start testing things out. You can't break it, so feel free. Right, we're gonna go with the tint. We definitely need to throw some, you know, some magenta in there and add some blood to the skin tones, right? And that already looks a lot better. Okay, let's see how the temperature is looking. Temperature is kind of another way of saying almost like white balance. They have a lot of similarities, but they're not exactly the same. All right, gamma control here. We're gonna add some gamma, and that's just gonna kind of add some like good contrast, right? It's gonna add some like richness to like the blacks. You can see it a lot, I guess, like in my beard here, right? The difference in that and in my skin tones, but that's looking pretty good, even though that's a lot higher than what I usually go. But the blues look a lot more like they look a lot similar once I added that gamma. Saturation, let's see, because I think I now have to adjust this tint. No, not the tint, maybe the that's looking better. Maybe I'll reduce some of the brightness to take some of the shine off of my forehead. And it's not perfect, but if you compare it to what we were dealing with, where I was looking very green over here before, right? These are a lot more comparable. So once again, I'm gonna get out of live demo mode so that we can see the shot in full screen, and we can see the difference in the colors, but the difference of how much better it looks now comparative to what we had when we were starting. So now that we've done that, excuse me, go back into live demo just to show you. We're just gonna remove the first camera to just leave this one, or we could just basically select and rotate through the different cameras that I have, or we could just add them all. So you know what, let's go to that one, right? Add this one, and then the behind the scenes cam. All right, so now that we have all four of these on screen, actually, you know what? Let me get out of live demo so that you guys can see. Now I'm just messing around. You can see that I have all of them on screen. We can see that all the colors are pretty good, right? And we did our best to match them. But I have no complaints to run it as is, and we can just rock it as is. So then I will now just go back to my main shot. And now when I go to that, the E shot, this camera doesn't look so off that if I were to jump back to this camera, that it will just throw you off when it comes with the differences, right? And if you were to say, why are they different, then that's when you can just look above and see, hey, we're on a completely different camera using a completely different setup and a completely different lens. And that is the differences between all of these, and the simplicity of how I use Ecamm to get these to a good enough area to color match, so that you can just use multiple cameras in your setup for your live stream. All right, now I'm gonna get something to drink, and you know what? Let's go to this one, because I was checking it out before, and this just looks like an amazing advertisement. So if Monster wants to sponsor this live stream, there's no conflicting, interest when it comes to Monster energy drinks and all the cameras and the different cameras that I use. So feel free to reach out. And if you want to sponsor my weekly live stream, it'll be highly appreciated. All right. And that is that. Right. Let's go back and you know what? Let's go check the comments in the comments window to see if you guys do have any questions. Sammy says, I upgraded my iPhone to the iPhone 16 Pro, and the ProRes RAW is very nice. Upgrade from an iPhone 16. Well, he said he upgraded from a 13, he meant. Okay, well, I am definitely getting into this one. I skipped out last year with the 15, but I'm also an owner of an Apple Vision Pro. So whenever I want to create spatial recordings, I haven't had the ability to just spatially record on my iPhone. I would always have to carry the Apple Vision Pro. Now, there's pros and cons, because the best spatial video that you can get is recording it with the Apple Vision Pro. It's got like 12 cameras on it, right? So it's getting all the depth and everything, and the LiDAR sensors and everything, but it's a lot more cumbersome. So it's more convenient to just have the phone, and it's about time. I'm upgrading from the 11 Pro, basically. So that now becomes my camera monitor, which is so funny to say, but it's like the best camera monitor on the market for Sony cameras right now, and it's been out for like 4 years already, just because of a Sony app. And now it's like, let's go with this, because the functionality of it is what has me just enamored with the application, and I'm just super excited to like put it to full use. And Nessa says, "Let's go. I just received mine, and you look amazing compared to my iPhone 13 Max." Don't fact check me though. I like that. uh Says the video samples that I've shot has shocked people that it was filmed on an iPhone. Oh, this is looking really good. And the other thing is that I also heard that there's an upgrade with the speeds that you're able to download the information off of the phone, which will make it very viable, right? And right now with the FX30, I've been shooting everything in log. It's just it's so much better, right? It just is. All right. Paul is waiting for his iPhone to be delivered. Yep, Sammy is saying that the CF Express it costs. Yeah, they're expensive. JP saying that that will be a great video. I hope so. I hope so. But I'm even thinking about this, JP, because I have like two methods of doing this. So you guys let me know. I'm eventually gonna end up doing it one way or the other, maybe both. You know what? Maybe both. I think I haven't even said anything, but I think I convinced myself already that I should do both. Well, I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna do, like I said, the overhead shot. I might leave that one with no commentary. I just might go through the process and just show you a how-to on the way that I put this together. And then maybe I can use some of that same, or I would use some of that same B-roll footage and then show you like a video explaining of how and why I came to the conclusions that I came and why I built out my rig that way. See? I think I just convinced myself. So that makes sense. Sammy says, I like the look of the 35mm lens. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I really like, more than anything, this for photography. For photography, I don't know if it's like just that there's a completely different way that the sensor is reading out the information, but for photos, it was such a huge difference going from the kit lens to this Brightin Star. So clip that and tag Monster Ticket. You know what? That should be a YouTube short. You know what? I'm going to hold myself accountable as well. Because this is something that I mentioned last week, and I also want you as a community to hold me accountable. I have a lot of ideas, and my mind starts squirreling. So I have to get back to not half-assing things, but whole-assing things, right? And completing things, because I get these dopamine hits, right? And then the next thing you know, I'm off and running, just building extra camera rigs because my mind and like the creativity aspect is just going. Like right now, camera rigs for me is like Legos, right? It's like Lego, and I'm just like putting pieces together. I'm having too much fun. Sammy says the 16 Pro has a nice dynamic range. I can imagine, but I could always tell the difference between, like iPhone, because it's crazy, but the cameras that have limitations because they're not doing computational like videography and photography, like that limitation is what gives it the like that feel that most people are like looking for when it comes to this. Gretchen says, I like my 35mm when I shooting infrared. I love 35mm as like a street photography camera, right? As just like, you're in a different city and you're just snapshotting away. And that's what's amazing with these digital cameras, like what we used to have to endure with film, right? And now I can put a piece of plastic, like hypothetically, we know it's not, but a little plastic chip that we call SD card into a camera with some number value on top of it, and you have roughly unlimited photos for all of these cameras in incredible high megapixels. It's pretty remarkable where we're at when it comes to photography and videography. But right now we've gotten to the part where I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button and jump right into Cities Ga, which is channels that I think you should go and watch. All right, hold on. I lost my eCam. There we go. And this week we're going to be speaking. Oh, we have too many windows open. Oh, that's why you see, I always wonder why I never have the chat open from YouTube and I just leave the one for eCam, and it's because of that little weird thing that it does, thinking it has like 3 extra windows open when I just want to show this one. All right, so oh, we're just gonna hold that thought. All right, here we are. This week's Cities Got is Jeff Fagan, right? Falcon. Oh man, let me start that over again. This week's Cities Got is Jeff Falcon. He actually was the one that I had mentioned. He's an FX30 content creator, a film photography, videography content creator, but he was the one that was using the FX30 to do a live stream directly from it. And I had referenced it last week, and that I had told you to check him out, and that his channel was Reach Films, but I really couldn't reach or find Reach Films, and it was because he had changed his name. Or his channel name to his actual name. Now, you can still at him at Reach Films, but if you haven't heard of him before, let me be the one to introduce you to Mr. Jeff. Now, Jeff, as you can see, is a multifaceted content creator. He is a Sony shooter. He uses FX30, but as you can see, he has Reds. He has a variety of different cameras, Canons. He shows you a variety of different lenses, and just an all-around content creator. You see, he dabbles in gimbals and microphones and a variety of different things. Another thing to note is that I believe he's local, like, so he's from the South Florida area. So I can't remember exactly, and I was like trying to rack my brain of like how I came across Reach Films or Jeff, but I think it was like, you know how they say a friend of a friend, right? From one content creator to another, and it was either a live stream or a recommendation. Let me skip this. It was either a live stream or a recommendation, something like that, that I came across his channel. But if you haven't heard of him, I will tell you to go ahead and check it out if you're interested in any of this content, which is basically what we do here. So he's just another multifaceted, you know, honorary camera junkie, where he's not, you know, brand, what is it? He's brand agnostic, right? Or polycameras, like I like to say. And yeah, he doesn't just stick to one thing. As you can see, he's got a recent video of the new GoPro, right? So if you haven't heard of him, this is Jeff Falcon from Reach Films, and that's this week's Cities Ga, channels that I think you should go and watch. And we did it, guys. This, believe it or not, was episode 199. So if you're trying to figure out what that means, that means that we've done this 199 times. But the most amazing part is that we've done it every single week. So it's 199 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream without skipping a beat. So if you're wondering what's going to happen next week, I just have to tell you to mark your calendars down and make sure that you do not miss it. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you hit the like button right now. It's highly appreciated. I tend to forget, not always, but I tend to forget that, but good thing I remembered. But I highly recommend that you subscribe, because this is the time to do so. We're just shy of 2,000 subscribers, and next week we're gonna be celebrating, yep, like JP says, the big 200. So big 200 episode, and like I had mentioned before, I'm going to be doing my first giveaway of some Camera Junkie merch. So I use Fourth Wall, which is where you can find all of the things there. You can become an actual member to me if you want to support me directly, like some of you amazing Camera Junkies already do. And I'm going to be giving away some things there, but you have to be, you have to be subscribed, because I'm also going to be doing for the first time where it's going to be the chat's going to be in subscriber mode only. So only people who are subscribed are going to be available for the giveaway, and the giveaway is going to be for only people who are attending the live stream. So you have to catch it live. It's not something like that. There's something that we've used on other live streams and other productions, which was the duck race. Some of you might be aware of it, and I'm going to utilize that program to like automate the giveaway process. So the way it's going to work is that you're just going to like hang out here, and as we're doing in chat, we're going to get to that section of the giveaway side, and we're going to demonstrate, or I'm going to show you what is going to be up available, and then you're just going to put your name into the chat that you want to be participating in the giveaway, and then I'm just going to take those names and put them into the duck race, and then we'll get in contact of the winners. It's worked well before, and it's all automated, so that's how I'm gonna do it. And with the power of Fourth Wall, it's gonna be super cool, because I should be able to just send you like a link where everything is gonna be automated on that side. So I'm excited not only for the big 200th episode, but then that also leads us to just 2 months away, right, from 208, which will be 4 consecutive years of the Camera Junkie live stream, which is also going to be another big milestone that you also want to be subscribed for, so that you do not miss it. So just next couple of months is going to be big, with big 200 next week, creator camp just around the corner, and then 208 just following behind that. So a lot of things, a lot of amazing good things on the way. So I'm excited to see all of your smiling faces as we get all of that done. So do that, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, I want to thank all of you, the Camera Junkie crew, the amazing people who make this live stream the place where I want to be, hands down, week in, week out, every Saturday night. So make sure you mark it down on the calendars. Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Camera Junkie YouTube channel. So everyone, take care of yourselves and each other, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces as we do it all over again next week. And until I see you then, talk to you.